what you're looking at here is the adjustment, and this would start at 0, which is outside, yeah? So you start at 0, and as you pull this back, or effectively adjust the angle very minutely, what you get are these very strange curve pits.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're looking at variation of I mean, if you put an error bar around that, just to give you some y error bar, the fixed value 0.1. Okay, so when you error bar that, okay, that's your maximum.
That's your standard deviations from the.
That in fact is not even 2 sigma or 6 sigma. That's maximum subscribable error. So it would actually be way beyond 6 sigma in terms of error. But what you would see when you do this, and again remember the setup is €25 chip, starting with your magnet here and pulling back this way. So in doing this, by doing this you actually get very, very minute angle adjustments, and what you will get is an energy curve that fits something like this and then tends down towards 0. So, this whole thing about just slapping a magnet in at an angle is a real hit and miss game, because if you look at the sensitivity of the system, I mean, here we're looking in this particular arrangement of, say, a maximum energy differential of, this is in millijoules, of half a millijoule. But if you're off 5 millimeters, which isn't a huge angular change. I mean, that 5 millimeters would translate down to a relatively small angular change. Okay, you
move to a fantastically different point on that curve.
You will move down to a substantially different point, and all of a sudden your error, whatever your net error rate of your system is, you'll be playing down an absolute. Margins.
Sure. Because when it drops down to here, the error rate's so high, you really don't know where you are.
Well, you have to reasonably subscribe it to error. You don't have a choice. So, I mean, if I was to look at giving practical advice to builders, it would be to say that a setup like this is in terms of starting off with a defined. I mean, to give you an example now of how much data. We're talking about here. This is the test data just for that run, So, you're looking at 3.4 gigabytes of test data just to find, and that's a solid 36-hour shift from our guys, just to find a specific sweet spot on one system, which is not good. In terms of also ascertaining your net energy error, I mean, we would always calibrate, before we do these kind of very, very long runs, we would always calibrate the system. So what we have here is, and there should be somewhere here a chart.
So you do an unloaded run on the system?
No, this is in fact fully loaded, okay? So what we're doing here is trying to ascertain the net energy error, okay? So what we'll do is do a fully loaded, and just to show you what I mean by fully loaded, I guess we'll take a chart somewhere here. We'll take an interaction, which is this, okay, which is driving to nearly 100% of the range of the torque sensor.
Right.
Okay, we'll do all of our data processing and all of that, and then we'll repeat that, in this case, 20 times,
Yes.
And then what we'll do is we'll get, if you take all of this, we have some error checking on this, okay? One is we're looking for deflection of the axle, so we've got 2 encoders on either side, so if the axle's bending, which can be a problem, we'll look at displacement sensors to make sure there's nothing bending. And we end up with an average energy error of 0.033, which is of a millijoule. What you're also looking at then, if we then to plot out the energy error, so that this would apply, for example, to that test that we've just seen there, okay?
Yes.
What you're looking at then, if you look at that in terms of maximum energy error, where you can see the maximum energy error in this situation is 0.73 of a millijoule, 0.073 of a millijoule. And when you look at these, we're looking at these are done at slightly higher speeds, so the error is increased slightly. We're looking at you're looking at results that are 6 to 7 times maximum subscribable energy. But practically for a builder, we're still struggling to find how, without all these toys, you can really do this, and that's a real struggle for us.
Sure.
But to understand in the right type of configuration, which is really all there is, because whatever way you play with this, you're playing with asymmetry of fields or asymmetry of response. You're always playing in the margins.
Yes.
And so simply sticking a magnet next to a wheel is hit and hope, okay? And your hit and hope gets even worse when you don't have the ability to measure anything. Yeah. And your hit and hope gets even worse when your ability to measure something is bad. It's horrible, but it is true.
Yeah. So your basic minimum really is the torque sensor.
Your basic minimum, we think, if you consider this as a single magnet-to-magnet interaction, okay, with a relatively optimum energy differential of half a millijoule.
Yes.
Okay, if you can't have an error rate of 0.1 of a millijoule, okay, you're not in the game. To be able to confirm this fact.